Hey folks, here's another TinkerCAD tutorial for you, and this one leads into one of my favorite all-time projects. We're going to make a model on the computer in a 3D program, in this case TinkerCAD. We're going to print that out using our 3D printer to get a cool product, and then we're going to take that 3D print and use it as a pattern in our foundry and make an aluminum casting out of our 3D print. Super fun to do and really not all that difficult. Now this particular model here, this face, it is a difficult one. There's a lot going on the Z-axis. I'm going to show you how we can do it with a simpler design relatively quickly. And to do that, I have a couple things open on my screen. I have my TinkerCAD interface I'll get back to in a second. But now I'm going to click on a tab that has one of my favorite all-time websites, Silhouette Garden. All kinds of great images here that work great when you're laser cutting, 3D printing, CNC plasma cutting, CNC milling, all kinds of great stuff on Silhouette Garden. I come here sometimes when I'm just looking for an idea, and it helps to spark the imagination. One of my favorite spots to go to is the fantasy silhouettes. All kinds of cool creatures. Ooh, that alien head would be a really cool casting. Some of these other ones would be nice, but maybe a little complex. Remember, when we're doing an aluminum casting, we don't want to have real fine things like the teeth and the tails parts on the dragon there. We want to find something nice and clean. Ooh, that crossbones could be kind of cool, but there's one in particular I was looking for. One of my favorites, the flying pig silhouette. It is a great blend of coolness, and also it's simple, right? Like the twisty curly tail there is the smallest part, but everything else is relatively bulky and easy to work with from a casting standpoint. So this is the one I'm going to choose. I need to save this file, so I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to say Save Image As. And I am going to name it Flying Pig. Alright, it's going to be saved on my desktop, and this is going to be a PNG file. I'm going to hit save. Alright, now if we are working on a PC, we might use a program like Inkscape, which is super duper awesome to take this PNG file in and edit it a little bit. But I want to show you another trick. I happen to be working on a Mac at home, and Inkscape doesn't actually work great on Macs. So I need to convert this PNG file into an SVG file, something that will work great in TinkerCAD. And I just Googled, convert PNG to SVG, and clicked on the first one that popped up. There's a bunch of good ones out there, but this one I've used a couple times now, and it works great. All I need to do is just drag my file onto the choose files part, and then click convert. And it will take just a second here. Sorry for the dead space, but it shouldn't take too long to convert that file into an SVG. Oh, look, it's already done. And I'll say download. There you go. I'm going to get back into TinkerCAD. And this is a fresh TinkerCAD file, so I want to make sure I take a second at the beginning to name it. I'm going to name this one 3D print for casting. And then I'm also going to change up my grid so that I am working on inches, and that I am working on the size that my 3D printer can handle. And if this stuff doesn't sound familiar, look back at the previous videos where we built this stuff up. Alright, and now I have my grid set to inches, and I have it set to the size of my 3D printer. I will go over here to import, and then I just have to drag in or open up my my SVG file. So I'll pull that in from my desktop, and I will just say import. There it is. All right, now this is why I wanted to change that work plane to be the right size for my 3D printer, because obviously it's a little too big, but it's a little too wide as well. So I'm going to select my flying pig. I will rotate him 90 degrees. But he's also huge, so I'll click top, scroll out a little bit, and then I'm going to shrink him up just to get him, hold down shift while I shrink him up so he doesn't change proportions. And then I want to think about what size I want to have him for the aluminum casting part. Right now, if I click on one of the little gray corner handlebars, he is not quite 4 by not quite 4.5. That's actually relatively small for aluminum casting. So I want to make him big. I'm going to use most of my build plate in the 3D printer. So I want to kind of fill up that grid. It's a little too big. I'll bring him down just a little bit. And go about like that in the center. Just want to check his height, and then we should be good to go. Okay, right now, 1/4 inch thick. That would be a really cool 3D print, but for an aluminum casting, not good enough. I need to make that a little bit thicker. So I'm going to bring that up to at least 1/2 inch. There we go. And now I would have a super cool. How big is he? Super cool, almost 5 by 5 aluminum flying pig. Pretty cool.